Chelsea won, Liverpool won, and boy, I mean, it's another contest between these two sides that was, let's be honest, boring. It was not up to the scratch whatsoever of two teams that should be fighting for Europe and fight for the Champions League in particular. Once again, it just wasn't good enough. The first half I thought had some kind of flair to it. I thought both teams were up for it. Liverpool definitely started the faster team. That's without any sort of debate. I thought Liverpool were on the front foot early in this game. And I was sitting there thinking, oh, this Liverpool team actually might be back in business a little bit. But that second half from Liverpool, poor. Second half from Chelsea, they picked up the pace a little bit. But Chelsea, the thing is, it's a work in progress. We all understand this. Mauricio Pochettino has inherited the squad where there's going to have to be mass changes. And when I look at this Chelsea lineup, it's like I couldn't recognize the team. It was completely different to the Chelsea I've been used to. So there's going to be some time to get used to it, to what the Chelsea and Mauricio Pochettino are doing. So I look less at them. I'm more focusing on Liverpool right now. Liverpool, this was worrying. Very, very worrying. Now, I know they're in the market for Moises Caicedo. I know they bid 110 million for Moises Caicedo. And I can see why. That team's in desperate need of a defensive midfielder. It was nothing like Alexis McAllister was bad today. I thought Alexis McAllister and Szoboszlai were good. It's just you need a DM. Neither of those players are a defensive midfielder. McAllister was playing that position, but that's not his forte. You need him as in the box-to-box role. Gakpo was anonymous today at times. I thought Salah was good in bursts. But here's another thing that really worried me about Liverpool. Liverpool have lost their danger. They're not a dangerous team anymore. And that's really bad. Because Liverpool have always been synonymous, for me at least, with being a dangerous team. A team that you can't sleep for even a second for, because they'll go and capitalize and get goals against you. Yes, that goal today that they scored was fantastic. I thought it was a brilliant goal. And in the first 30 minutes, Liverpool were brilliant as a whole. But Liverpool overall have lost their danger factor. And it's very hard to get back. When they go forward on counterattacks, in the old times, with Sadio Mane, Firmino, Salah, it's a goal 9 times out of 10. You're sitting there and you're worried. You're thinking, all right, fine, we've conceded. But nowadays, when they go through, whether it's Diaz, Salah, you've got Jota up there today. Obviously, Nunez came on. You're not worried. They mess up the final pass. They mess up the final shot. Even getting the transition from defense to attack, it's not really fluid enough. It's too choppy, changey. So if you're Liverpool Football Club, you need to fix that. And the thing that worried me big time is, look at the team that ended the game for Liverpool. This is a team that has aspirations of not only making top 4, certain fans want them to win the title. And you're ending the game with Harvey Elliott, whatever that Donny, number 50 for Liverpool, is that young kid. Nothing against him. He's just a young kid. He shouldn't be playing the game. You've got Nunez up front, and then you've got Curtis Jones in there. And that team, that attacking strike force is meant to help you win the Premier League title this season. It makes no sense. I'm all for making substitutions, but when you're taking off Salah, Diaz, Jota, Gakpo, and your players you're bringing on just aren't up for it, you know you're in trouble. So Liverpool today, it was more worrying for me watching Liverpool than it was for Chelsea. Now, Chelsea started the game badly. I'm not going to lie to you lot. But look, it's a new manager, new season. They've got a lot to change. I thought Chelsea actually grew in the game. And Chelsea definitely looked the better side in that second half for an absolute fact. I thought Liverpool was sleepwalking in that second half. Chelsea just lacked that clinical edge for me. Jackson had a chance where he probably should have done better. I think the goal really helped Chelsea. Chelsea could not score for anything last year. For hell or high water, they could not put the ball in the back of net last season. So they need to start firing some way or another. The goal they scored, I think it was a perfect type of goal. Scrappy, headed back across goal. Diaz puts it into the back of net. Good goal. But you know what? They weren't exactly going to carve Liverpool open. So that was the goal they needed. And after they got that goal, they really got their confidence and their tails up, Chelsea. Went down and almost scored another one through Chilwell, marginally offside. So that goal really put some life into this Chelsea team. And after that, I thought they really started to take a foothold in the game. Weren't very dangerous, Chelsea. I thought none of these sides you could label dangerous. But Chelsea definitely looked like the team more likely to get the winner, just in my opinion, regarding the game. So I look at it from both sides, and it's a worrying game to watch. Now I know why both teams need a defensive midfielder, because that was the one position neither team had. I thought Enzo Fernandez was good in there, and Conor Gallagher grew into the game, but neither of those players are defensive midfielder. And I think if either team had a defensive midfielder, they would have won this football match. And having a defensive midfielder doesn't necessarily mean you just have to defend well and cut out play. That's one job of the defensive midfielder. Another important job for any good defensive midfielder, and Rodri does this in abundance if you watch Rodri, is they're actually the ones to start the attack. The defensive midfielder picks up the ball from the goalkeeper, turns and starts the attack off, spraying it left, right. Rodri is so good at this. How many attacks start from Rodri? So many of Man City's ones. So having a defensive midfielder, in my opinion, is the most important position on the football pitch. And both these teams lack one. They're both in for the same player, Caicedo. One of them needs to sign him because he's a top-tier defensive midfielder, in my opinion. And if not, go for Romeo Lavia because he's a top player as well. I think if Liverpool had a defensive midfielder today and the midfield three was Szoboszlai, Alexis McAllister and Caicedo, I think they're winning this football match. I genuinely do. Because the one thing about Liverpool, throughout their spell under Jurgen Klopp, right, even when they were winning the leagues and they had the Salahs, the Firminos, the Manes, Van Dijk, Alisson, Trent, etc., it was fantastic. The one part of that team that was really the unsung hero was the midfield. Liverpool's midfield is so important to the way they play because they are the ball carriers from defense to attack. Liverpool's midfield last season just had no legs. That was their problem. Henderson, Fabinho, and whether it was Curtis Jones, etc., it had balance. Fabinho, the defensive midfielder, Henderson, the box-to-box role, and Curtis Jones, the more attacking midfielder. The balance was there. The problem was none of those players had legs. They had no actual transition to their game. They couldn't progress the ball from defense to attack. It was just bypassing the midfield, and that was Liverpool's problem because that was such a pivotal part and a core part to how they play football. Now, they've got legs. McAllister, Szoboszlai, they'll run all day, every day. Gakpo, the same thing, but they've got no balance. They need to combine the both. So bringing a defensive midfielder, I think keep Szoboszlai now. I really liked his debut. Same with Alexis McAllister, push him up the pitch a little bit into a box-to-box role. And I think Liverpool could be sorted. I really do think so. The other part to Liverpool is, though, they need their confidence back. They need their mojo back. One way or another. I don't know how they got to do it, but they got to do it. Because as I said at the start of the live stream, Liverpool are not a dangerous team right now. And that's a very worrying sign for their supporters and Jurgen Klopp. You have to be synonymous with danger in life and in football. Man City are a dangerous team. Arsenal right now look a dangerous team. Man United at times look dangerous. Liverpool don't look dangerous. They don't have that fear factor anymore. And that fear factor is so powerful in football. Now, how do you get it back? It comes with reputation. So even last season, Liverpool had that fear factor, even though they were terrible last season, because of the reputation and credit they built up from the seasons back. Going into this season, the fear factor is depleted. Because everyone saw Liverpool last year and saw they were crap. So this year, they're not expecting much from Liverpool. Only real Liverpool fans and some pundits are thinking they might sneak into top 4. Well, based on this performance, they ain't doing it. I'll tell you that for free. Liverpool got a lot to change up. And another thing is, right, this team needs a refresh. They still haven't hit the reset button. Van Dijk, Salah. Salah was good today, by the way, in the spell he had on the pitch. And obviously, he threw a strop when he came off. I mean, I understand why. He came off for a young boy, number 50 for Liverpool. Look, you're trying to chase the game. You're trying to win the football match. You take off Mohamed Salah and Luis Diaz for 2 young kids. Doesn't really make sense in my opinion. So if you're Liverpool Football Club, right, you got to get the fear factor back. It's going to need a big reset. You've still got Van Dijk, Trent, Alisson, Salah. These are players that won you the Champions League and Premier League for over 4 seasons ago. They're going to need some kind of reset, man. You can't keep running the same team week in, week out, season in, season out. Even Pep Guardiola, he was winning the title season in, season out. He still swapped out Sane. He still got rid of Sterling. He's still losing Mahrez now. He still finds a way to refresh these players that were top wingers for him because he understands that players need changing, squads need refreshing. You need new identities. And I think Liverpool just stuck with the same identity and it's not quite working. They've been found out. The players have lost their mojo. They've lost their hunger. They've lost their desire. And it's looking like another season just like last year for Liverpool unless they change something. Look, I've got a lot of respect for Liverpool. And for me, I've always said this. Even Liverpool and Man City were going tap for tap. I much preferred watching Liverpool play. Liverpool, for me, have been one of the most entertaining teams to watch in my lifetime in the Premier League. Far more entertaining than Man City. And why were they entertaining? Because they were so dangerous. Liverpool were nothing like Man City. Man City were like machine gun fire. They would just attack you for the whole 90 minutes, just wave after wave after wave. Liverpool were like RPG homing launchers. It takes a long time to reload, but when they shot you like it was like a bomb going off, man. You couldn't stop it. Liverpool at times would coast through games, give the opposition chances, but when they blitzed you and they scored 3-4 goals in 20 minutes and the game would be over. That Liverpool team isn't capable of doing this anymore, and that's the problem because Liverpool's whole game plan has been built on heavy metal football. And right now, I think Newcastle are closer to Liverpool than Liverpool to Liverpool. And that's been genuinely honest. Anyone that watched Newcastle against Aston Villa on Saturday, that's exactly what Liverpool wanted to play like and exactly how Liverpool played under Jurgen Klopp. Yes, at times they rode their luck. Aston Villa had chances, but when they got their chance, they scored in flurries and the game ended up finishing 5-1 to Newcastle. That's exactly what I expect from Liverpool and exactly what it has been under Jurgen Klopp, but not quite like that anymore. And that's looking like a problem, man. Let's get into some of your comments, by the way, before I review Chelsea as well. Let me know your thoughts regarding Liverpool, Chelsea, how you think both these teams are going to do. Which team do you think is going to finish higher? That's my genuine question. Right now, I think Liverpool still will finish higher, just because I think if they sort out that defensive midfield position, they'll be better. But Chelsea, it will take time for that team. But they look better today, Chelsea. I think out of the 2 teams, Chelsea were more likely to win the football match. That's just my thoughts on it. It's a shame Reece James has gone off injured. He's been named captain, and to be fair, he's one of Chelsea's best players, but the man's never available. Never available. He can't stay fit for 38 games. What is it? Does he need more coaching in his stamina, in his health? I don't know what it is. Jeff, appreciate joining the stream. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Chelsea boss that second half, agree. Lots of Chelsea changes, but one big change was having both James and Chilwell available again. Yeah, look, availability is Chelsea's biggest hindrance, man. That's their Achilles heel. If James and Chilwell are available, they look like a top team because a lot of their attacks come from their fullbacks. You saw what happened when Raheem Sterling and James were on the same side. All of Chelsea's attacks came down the right. Link up play between Raheem Sterling and Reece James. That was all the attacks that were coming from Chelsea's side. It was all down there. And look, you could say they bossed the second half, and I agree. But the thing with Chelsea is they had no cutting edge. Nicholas Jackson, I love the look of him. I really do. I think he's a really energetic striker, tenacious as well. And he's also a striker that I believe has confidence. And that's very important to any attacking player, to possess an element of confidence. But the man doesn't look like he can finish right now. Even someone like Alexander Isak, he can at least finish chances. Jackson had a few chances today, most notably in the first half, pulled back to him, right peg, straight over the bar. He has to do better. So Chelsea's problem last season was scoring goals. They need to fix that this season, because if they struggle to score goals, they ain't going to go up this Premier League table. That's just my thoughts on it. But yeah, I agree with you. I thought Chelsea were the better team in that second half. Liverpool ran out of gas, and I think Liverpool were happy for the point. And I think out of the two teams, I think both teams just have to take the point and move on. It's the first game of the season. Neither team was at their best. It was very much a mid-off. It was very similar to the games last season, which is worrying because both these teams had a whole summer to change things. How many times have we seen a team spend the off-season, spend the summer, really changing their squad? And not just changing their squad, right, but changing their formation, changing their tactics. They come out a brand new team. Both these teams look like they hadn't had an off-season. They look like they hadn't had time on the training ground. It was just the 39th game of the season before. That's my genuine opinion on it. None of these teams really look like they refreshed anything. And that's got to be a worry if you're Chelsea and Liverpool Football Club, especially for Liverpool, because Chelsea understands it's a process. You understand it's going to take time for Pochettino to implement what he wants to implement. But if you're Liverpool Football Club, you got to understand that Klopp's been here a while now. He's been here 7-8 seasons. If he was going to change it, he would have changed it by now. He's been backed. FSG bought Shabazai for 70 million. They bought McAllister for 40, 50, how much it costs. They're trying to buy Caicedo for 110 million. So they're trying to buy the players. But is it deeper than just changing out personnel? That's my opinion on it. And that's what we got to find out, because for Liverpool, I think the start of the season is going to be huge. Last season, they started horribly. They picked it up towards the end of the season. And genuinely, if the season lasted 5 more matches, they probably would have made the Champions League. But the Premier League, it's a marathon, not a sprint. You've got to start fast. And Liverpool have not been synonymous with fast starts recently, especially last year. So, look, today was a bad game. It was a bad performance and a bad result in general for both teams, I would say. I think both teams wanted to win that match. Chelsea, they'll feel like they should have won the game because Liverpool could only get better. And Liverpool feel like they should have won the game because they started so brilliantly in that first half an hour and they were in complete control. But a football game's 90 minutes and 30 minutes is not enough. Mali, I appreciate your stream as well. Hope you're doing well, my friend. It was embarrassing. What an absolute snooze fest. Yeah, that second half was so boring, man. So boring. Like, I'm sitting there thinking, what is going on with both these teams? Like, these are teams that should be up the table. These are two really good sides. Elite football clubs, the big six. And we're not seeing any sort of cutting edge to either of them. And that's a real problem. As I said earlier on in the stream, right? You have to have a fear factor around your football club. You have to have it. And it's reputation, fair. But you have to build that sort of reputation. I think neither of these clubs have it. Whenever any of these players go through one-on-one, are you confident they're scoring? Salah, yeah, maybe, fair. But you look at Nunez, he ain't really scoring one-on-one. Gakpo, I don't think he's scoring one-on-one. Luis Diaz, fair, okay, he will. Then you look at Chelsea. Jackson, nope, he's not scoring one-on-one. Mudryk, absolutely not. He had his chance at the end of the game and he fluffed it. Do you get what I mean? Like, neither of these teams, you really look at them and think, wow, if you give them a counter-attack, they're going to score goals. And that has been literally what Liverpool have died on the hill of doing. Scoring on counter-attacks, playing fast football, transitions, blitzing you. Balls go from defense to attack in 10 seconds, they score. But you just don't quite have it. And look, it's going to take time. And am I maybe too optimistic to think it's just going to click for Liverpool? Are Liverpool fans too optimistic? Or do we actually need to reach a stage where Liverpool change everything? They blow up and start again. They change their formation. They change their tactics. They change a lot of personnel. I'm not too sure, but something needs to change, because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and again and expecting different results. And I feel like that's Jurgen Klopp right now. It's Groundhog Day. Like I said earlier, this game felt like the 39th game of the Premier League season for both these sides, not the first game of the new season. It was exactly like the 2-3 contests we've seen from these teams before. Both having chances, both having control of the game at different periods, but neither having any sort of threat. And that is a problem, because the only thing that matters, possession don't matter. Goals, chance created doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is a score in the top left, up there. That's the only thing that matters. And both teams only scored 1 goal. And both teams look like toothless tigers. And that needs to change. Because that was Chelsea's problem last season. And it's Liverpool's problem again. You need to score goals. And you need to look dangerous. And neither team had it. Enzo and Chilwell. Yeah, I thought Enzo had a good game, to be fair, Enzo Fernandez. But he was playing out of position. Him and Gallagher has no balance in that midfield. It's a double pivot that makes no sense for me. Chelsea need a defense midfield. And it frees up Enzo Fernandez to travel up the pitch. Enzo Fernandez in the World Cup for Argentina was so good because he was given license to roam. Up and down all day. When you give that man a fixed role to just defend deep, that's not his role, man. That's not his job. That's not where you get the most out of him. Part of being a manager in life and in football, no matter what field or occupation you're in, is getting the most out of your personnel. And I feel like Pochettino isn't getting the most out of his players when he's playing Gallagher next to Enzo Fernandez. Both players aren't playing in their best position. Gallagher's better further forward, and Enzo Fernandez is better going forward. But what's happening? Both players are coming back to defend, and that's not right. I feel like they need a defensive midfielder desperately. If it's Lavia, if it's Caicedo, fair, but get someone in the door, because then that frees up more of the players around them. Having a good defensive midfield is so important because the defensive midfield, like I said before, is the most important position on the football pitch. That is your rock. That is the heart and soul of your team. If your defensive midfielder is in there, he will allow the other players to free up. Think about Man United last season. They stunk. As soon as Casemiro got signed, suddenly they became a much better team, a Champions League qualifying team, because he was that rocky midfield, and then all the players played off him. He frees up everyone else in the midfield. Both these teams lack that defensive midfield. And look, maybe it's as simple as addressing that. Maybe whichever team gets Caicedo suddenly flies up the table and the performances get exponentially better. But maybe I'm simplifying it at the same time. I saw a lot of problems from both these teams. Opening weekend is very important because you can identify a lot of teams that have problems and a lot of teams that actually look quite good. For example, earlier today, I watched Tottenham versus Brentford. I reviewed it on this channel, right? Tottenham obviously drew that game 2-2, but from what I saw from Ange's team, I liked it. I saw positives from Tottenham. Equally yesterday, Newcastle, positives. They look good. Arsenal won 2-1. Yeah, it was nervy, but I saw positives from Arsenal. I saw the fact they were pressing when they lost the ball and they were hunting it back like sharks. I watched both of these two teams today. Did you see positives? For Liverpool, no. I think first 25, 30 minutes was good, but that was it. I thought they really looked jaded in that second half and looked tired, which is weird for a first game of the season. For Chelsea, I saw some positives in terms of new teams showing commitment, showing heart, but they really lack that technical ability and quality in the final third especially, and that's got to be worrying for Pochettino as well. But he's a coach. He will improve them. I've got no doubt. Liverpool were looking fatigued, 100%, man. That second half, they were nothing. Like, they were shell of Liverpool from seasons back. It was exactly like the Liverpool last season. It was like the 39th game of the season before. It was absolutely jaded performance from Liverpool in that second half. That's what I mean about Liverpool being very thin. Subs, Jones, Elliott, Doki, oh my. Exactly. Look, Liverpool should not end the game with that team. That is unacceptable. If you're a Liverpool Football Club, right, that wants to win the Premier League, fight for the Champions League spots, etc., I don't mind what you want to fight for. I'm not a Liverpool fan. But you should not be ending that game against Chelsea, 1-1, game in the balance, with Diaz, Gakpo, Salah, and Jota off the football pitch. That makes no sense to me. You're trying to win a football match, and you've taken off Salah, Diaz, your two most dangerous footballers. You're trying to win a football match, and you've got youngsters playing up front. You've got Harvey Elliott, Nunez, and Doke, or Doke, however you pronounce his name. Why? How are you going to try to win a football game with those three players? It makes no sense to me. Now, I'm not one to question Jurgen Klopp. I think he's a fantastic manager, one of the best managers in the Premier League. But it does worry me a little bit. Because even Liverpool of seasons gone by, if Salah was having a bad game, no problem. Divock Origi would come on and be that difference maker. But they don't have that right now. It's the starters and it's young kids, academy players. There's no one in the middle that's going to be that difference maker off the bench. Is Nunez a difference maker? I don't think he is. I think Nunez is just a little bit crazy. He's just shambolic. He's a shambles. When I say shambles, I don't necessarily mean that in such a bad way. He's just chaotic. There's nothing really measured about his performances. That's why he doesn't start for Liverpool. You can't start Nunez because he's too chaotic to start. In a team that wants to win games and have control, would Nunez get into Man City's team? No. Would he get into Arsenal's team? No. Because both Arsenal and Man City play a game with an element of control. They want to control the football match. The first protocol is as soon as the game starts, get your foot on the football. Get possession of the ball. Control and dictate tempo. Then we'll worry about venturing forward and getting chances. With Nunez, you can't do that. It's just crazy. It's as soon as he gets the ball, he just runs with it like a headless chicken. And yeah, he'll get chances. And yeah, that might fit Liverpool's system. But he's not starting for Liverpool for a reason. He's not a game changer. Where's your Wijnaldum? They still haven't replaced him. Is he going to be Shabazz? Is he going to be Alexis McAllister? I don't think so. So look, there's a lot of problems at Liverpool. And I could talk about them all day, every day, Liverpool Football Club. But boy, oh boy, it's going to be a very long season for them again if they don't fix it. And look, one season's okay. Everyone can have a dip season. It happens. I remember the season they finished third, right? Next season they went to challenge for the title again. Last season was a dip season for Liverpool. Is it going to be a one-off season? Are they going to go back to challenge for the title again this year? Or is it going to be basically the preview of what's to come, which is Liverpool starting to actually drop further and further down the table and go back to normality? I say normality, they should be fighting for top. But you know what I mean? Go back to the days of where they were just a Europa League team and not actually fighting for the title again, which would be a shame because I've always seen Liverpool under Jurgen Klopp be a really fun team to watch. I said it before, even when Man City and Liverpool were playing games, I would always watch a Liverpool game over a Man City game. They were far more entertaining to watch. There was game changers on that team. And I just think they're a shell of themselves now. And it's a shame to see. Add Caicedo to Chelsea, and Chelsea is flat out better than Liverpool. Yeah, to be honest, whichever team gets Caicedo will be better than the other. Who do you think right now is finishing higher? I want to hear it down below. Who do you think is finishing higher? Let me know in the comment section. Good first half, 7th draw in a row between these two teams. And you got your prediction spot on, Dennis. Thank you for joining the stream, by the way, Tommy. You're right, man. As I said it was going to finish 1-1. I said it as well. I predicted it to a T. I said it's going to be another boring 1-1. Because these teams, right, none of them have cutting edge. And I'll be honest with you guys right now. Who would you rather watch? If you're a Liverpool fan or Chelsea fan, fair, you'd rather watch your teams. Chelsea, Liverpool, Newcastle. I'd rather watch Newcastle. I'll be honest with you guys. Newcastle at least have some kind of threat. Newcastle actually look like they're going to score goals. I can't wait for Man City versus Newcastle next week. That's a better game than Man City versus Chelsea. I'll take that for free. So, yeah, I think both these teams need to find some kind of cutting edge. I think it comes with confidence. They're both lacking confidence. But, look, you've had the summer off. You've had the preseason. That's what they're there for. They're there to build confidence, build fitness. And I think neither of these teams have really capitalized on that. They've signed some players, but have they really improved in terms of mentality, in terms of commitment? That's what you got to ask yourself. True good, I appreciate your stream. Hope you're doing really, really well, my friend. Big up my guy, really impressive Luis Diaz today, in my opinion. If he's able to stay fit, he's one of their most important players. Oh, you're 100% right. Luis Diaz is one of my favorite players for Liverpool. He's one of my favorite players in the Premier League. I think that guy's absolutely fantastic. When he was injured last season, right, it was a big shame. Big shame, because he was a lot of what Liverpool doing. He is that replacement for Sadio Mane. Remember when Luis Diaz came in the team? For 6 months, he really changed Liverpool. He was superb, a breath of fresh air. And when he came off injured, when he came off injured last season, right, Liverpool really got shook from that, and it really altered them. A lot of people were calling for Diaz to come back, and he will be the game changer. He didn't really materialize in that aspect. But yeah, whenever Diaz is on the pitch, he's that little just spark for me. He is that spark that they have. Salah, look, unpopular opinion about Salah. Salah is a fantastic player. He is, no doubt. But Salah can't do it alone. He's not that type of player. Salah, you can't just give the ball and let him do something special. And many are going to say, wow, like, really? Like, that's what Salah does. He's a special player. He's a special player. But he's not a, give me the ball and let me do something special. Alexis Sanchez, Eden Hazard, those were special players. Those are players that you give them the ball and you let them do something with it. Salah right now is a case of getting on the end of crosses, getting on the end of chances. That is Salah's game. And that's why he was so good with Firmino up front, with Mane in the team, because they would all feed each other. And whoever's in the best position to score would get the ball and score it. Whereas now, I think Salah's been asked to do too much. Salah was the main man up front for Liverpool. He was. But he wasn't with him and then a bunch of Robins. It was Salah, Mane, and Firmino who were just underneath. Like, they were both just as good. In my opinion, I thought Mane was better than Salah at times. Whereas now it's Salah's by far the best player. And if it's not Diaz in there, it's a drop-off to Jota, Nunez, and Gakpo. I think Salah needs players around him that are at his similar level. I don't think he's enough to do it by himself. Hazard for Chelsea, Sanchez for Arsenal could do it by themselves because they were special in the sense that they were wingers that would take you on and make something out of nothing, be the catalyst for the team. Salah, for me, isn't a catalyst. And it might be an unpopular opinion. You might disagree with me in the comment section. That's fair. Let me know in the live chat if you disagree. But I genuinely think Salah's at his best when he's got players of a similar ability around him to feed him and to play off each other. He's not someone that in a team of crap players or average players, he can stand up and shine. That's not his game. That's not his style. Michael, appreciate you joining the stream. Hope you're doing well, my friend. I love you, Chelsea. Well, do you think Chelsea back on the Pochettino? I think it'll take time, but I think Chelsea could be back very soon, man. Very soon. I've got big faith in Pochettino. I remember what he did at Tottenham, man. Fantastic manager there. Superb style. Very coachable, personable man. It will take time. And there were signs they have a really good Chelsea team. I still think they need the striker. I don't think Jackson's quite enough. I think Jackson's a plan B striker. And who knows, maybe a Brozier, when he's back from his injury, he might be the starting striker for Chelsea. I don't know. But yeah, I definitely think they need a striker. I definitely think they need a defense midfielder. And Sanchez as well. Is he the answer for Chelsea in goal? I'm not too sure of you guys. JD, appreciate your stream. Doing well, my friend. Devastated by losing a point here. Are you a Chelsea fan? Wait, lost 10,000 on Liverpool. I don't know if you really bet that. I mean, if you're betting £10,000, you can afford to donate me on a super chat, right? No, I'm joking, but yeah, I appreciate your stream regardless. My dog is barking and comforting right now. Well, that's dog's a man's best friend, right? He keeps barking. Okay, no, all right, okay. Hey Truguna, I hope you're doing well, Malia. Caicedo's off to Chelsea. Yeah, it's looking that way. I mean, Liverpool wanted him, didn't really end up going through. Now let's see what comes of it, to be honest with you. So if Caicedo ends up at Chelsea, that's a perfect signing for them. Liverpool then need to go for Lavia. Problem is, right, for Liverpool, now every club knows Liverpool have £110 million to spend. That is their problem now. Because when they tried to sign Lavia, they were penny pinching. 35 million, 40 million, 45 million. They were penny pinching a little bit. Southampton said they wanted 50 million. That was the asking price. Paying less weren't going to get you your man. Now that Liverpool bid 110 million for Caicedo, if they go back in for Lavia now, Southampton go, hang on a minute. We set a 50 million asking price. You got to pay 50 million. This is non-negotiable. We know you can spend 60 million more on Caicedo. So you can spend 50 million on Lavia if you really want him. So I think the move for Caicedo was look, it was the right move, but I think they went about it the wrong way. Liverpool got too arrogant. Every time you go for player details first, then you go for the transfer fee. You assure that the player has got confirmation that he's going to join you. You've got personal terms wrapped up with a bow on top, cherry on the cake. Once that's been done, then you go for the transfer fee. But Liverpool got a little bit arrogant. They're like, Caicedo will obviously want to join us. We're Liverpool Football Club. Let's get the deal done. Send 110 million Brighton's way. Done. Caicedo, welcome to Liverpool. Even Jurgen Klopp was announcing it. But what happened? Caicedo went, nah, I want to join Chelsea. I don't want to join Liverpool. And then they got pie on their face. Do you get what I mean? So Liverpool got a little bit arrogant there. Now they have to get defensive midfielder. And I think they'll go for Lavia. And Lavia will be a good option. Lavia is risky though because he's young. He is young, but he's got legs. So there's a trade-off there. Lavia will run all day, every day. He's a workhorse. But he hasn't got the experience that Fabinho had for Liverpool and Henderson has for Liverpool. That was the difference. So let's see. It's going to be a change for Liverpool, that's for sure. And I mean, only time will tell whether it's a good change or bad change. Big up, Luca. Appreciate your stream, my friend. JJ, hope you do well. Appreciate your stream. Guys, it was funny at first, but now we really should pull out of Caicedo, get defensive midfielder, left centre-back in within a week. Otherwise, Newcastle will put 8 past us. I think you're talking about Liverpool, right? In this comment. This is a thing, right? Liverpool, a lot of people have spoken about Liverpool need a left centre-back. I actually like Konate. I think Konate is a very good player. I think if you're Liverpool, right, you definitely need a backup centre-back, sure. I agree. I think if you're Liverpool, right, genuinely, you need a backup attacking player as well, like a backup winger. Because if Salah ain't going to play all your games, you can't have that Doke boy coming on the pitch. You can't really have Harvey Elliott ending games in attacking positions. It shouldn't be the way it is. So if you're Liverpool Football Club, I understand getting a defensive midfielder. That should be priority. That should be the majority of the transfer budget. And left centre back, sure, I get it as well. But for me, I'd be looking also at a backup winger to Salah, man. Because Salah needs to get replaced. I do genuinely think that. Maybe look at Michael Olise from Crystal Palace. That could be a good signing. You never know. He's a good player, in my opinion. Should Salah show his frustration for being subbed? Look, Tommy, I think he shouldn't, but I understand it. You should never, ever, ever visibly show frustration during a football match. It's not a good look. It's not a good look for the football club. It's disrespectful. It's disrespectful to Jurgen Klopp for making a decision as your manager, and it's disrespectful to the young player coming on the pitch because you're saying you shouldn't bring that kid on for me. Do you get what I mean? But he's right, though. Like, Salah is right. He might have had his best games, Salah. I actually thought he played decent. You're taking Salah off a game changer. One of your best players, one of the best right wingers in the Premier League. For a youngster that's barely played any minutes for Liverpool. Like, it makes no sense. Like, am I the only one seeing this? You're taking off Salah for Doke or whatever his name is. Like, why? Genuinely, why? Like, that makes no sense. Maybe it's just me, right? But I genuinely think that Jurgen Klopp's got a lot to fix this football club. Genuinely a lot to fix because they can't be ending games with that team out there. They can't be. If they want to fight for the title or Champions League or anything, they can't be ending games like that. That's just my thoughts on it, right? So, look, to end the stream, to be honest with you guys, I think between the two teams, I think Chelsea will finish lower than Liverpool. Just because I think Liverpool got less problems to fix. And I think Chelsea will take a season or two to really hit the ground running with Pochettino. I've already said before, for Chelsea, right, your game plan should be, don't worry about results right now. Worry about performances. Get a real good solidified team out for Pochettino. Because last season, the biggest problem for Chelsea was no one knew their starting 11. And I think this season, we still don't know Chelsea's starting 11. Pochettino doesn't know it. So give Pochettino time to find out and figure out his starting 11. Does Mudryk start? Does Jackson start? Does Enzo and Gallagher start? Who starts for Chelsea in their strongest 11? That's what Pochettino needs to find out. So he'll take time to experiment. I think the first couple months will be a good time to play Chelsea while they are experimenting. But once Pochettino really starts to hit the groove and find his best 11, find his strongest team, then you could really see Chelsea start to pick up the performances and really start to hit the ground running. Like I said, today was actually a decent performance. I thought Chelsea showed positive signs today, especially Reece James and Sterling on the right-hand side. I thought them two were fantastic together. But as I always say, right, you got to ensure if you're Chelsea Football Club that you get your performances sorted first, because that's the main thing. Results the one thing, but performances are sustainable. Remember last season, right? Conte at Tottenham. Tottenham were getting results in the season early, but they had no performances. Around midway through the season, the performances were still crap, but suddenly the results started to turn bad as well. They started to reflect the bad performances, and then that's when it started to really get rotten. So performances always come first. Nicking last-minute winners, scoring goals against the run-up play, winning games we didn't deserve to win them, a great feeling. It adds confidence to the football club, and it gives that feel-good factor. But in the long term, that won't win you game. That won't win you trophies, sorry. So if you're Chelsea Football Club, if you're Pochettino, find your strongest 11. I don't care who's in it, but find it. And yes, it should take some time, but that should be your game plan. You got to find a team that gives you balance and a team that you can build upon. Because once you have a consistency in your starting 11, you have consistency in your tactics and your formation, then you'll start seeing consistency in performances. Then that will come. Then results will come off the back of that. So if you're Chelsea Football Club, if you're Pochettino, understand that today there was good signs. There was bad signs as well, but there was generally good signs for me. I thought you started slow, but you definitely grew into the game, and the goal helped. But another bad thing is, right, you can't start playing good once you score that goal. Because Chelsea, up until they scored that goal, they looked nervous. They lacked confidence. They lacked cutting edge. So you can't wait to score before you then start to attack the opponent and actually look like a dangerous team. So if you're Chelsea Football Club, you've got to find that confidence early. You've got to find a goal scorer one way or another. But there's still some time to go in this window. Will Chelsea sign any more players? Who knows? I think both of these clubs need a defensive midfielder. That was glaring to see. But they could Chelsea get Caicedo in there. They could really make a push for top four. I put Liverpool 4th and Chelsea 5th in my predictions for the Premier League table. It's on my channel. Feel free to watch it. Because I thought both these teams would be very closely contested. And look, now with the whole with the whole league coefficient thing, we could see 5 Champions League spots next season. And if that's the case, Chelsea and Liverpool, with my prediction, would both make Champions League. But based off this performance today, I don't think either team would make Champions League. Based off just these performances. Nothing against Chelsea. I think Chelsea had the better performance, but you can tell there's still space to grow with this Pochettino team. They're not at anywhere near the finished article. Equally for Liverpool, they got problems to solve. They got a lot of problems that are still recurring from last season. Shauna, appreciate you on the stream. Hope you're doing well, my friend. We're on top 4 this season. Come on, you Blues. Well, let's see, man. Let's see what happens to Chelsea. Of course, I'll be keeping up to date with Chelsea this season, reacting to a lot of their matches. I'm interested to see what Pochettino does with this team because there's a lot of personnel there. And yes, Chelsea have shipped out a lot of the deadwood, and fair play to them for doing that. Likes of Pulisic, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Kante, obviously Havertz, Mount, they've all departed. So it's a much more streamlined squad. It's a very different team as well. I mean, I watched Chelsea today, and it was a much different team to what I remember Chelsea playing with. Much different team. So, look, let's see what comes of it, to be honest with you guys. With Chelsea, there's a lot to change. I do think that for an absolute fact. I think they've still got a while to go before they really solidify a team that will push on for them and help them challenge for titles again. But the main thing is get the performances back. That's got to be the main thing because that's the bedrock of any team. The foundations of any strong team is they have the performances. Even though Pep Guardiola didn't win the league in his first season at Man City, he was building something amazing. Same with Arteta at Arsenal. Same with what Erik ten Hag's doing at Man United right now as well. So you've got to have the foundations of building a solid team and solid performances and building an identity. Once you have those 3 things in place, an identity, performances, and obviously consistency in formation and tactics, then you'll start to see results as a byproduct of that. But you can't skip to the result stage without solidifying the other 3. Otherwise, it will be unsustainable growth. And that's got to be Chelsea's game plan now under Pochettino. Build an identity, build a starting 11 that works, and build tactics and build some sort of performances with that. That's what's got to happen for Chelsea. Enzo cooked and set the whole tempo of the match. I agree. It looked much better as compared to Liverpool. Yeah, look, Liverpool had the first 25, 30 minutes, but as soon as Chelsea made it 1-1, they were by far the better team, Chelsea. Enzo was really good in there. The thing with Enzo is I think him and Gallagher isn't a good match. I think they definitely need a defensive midfielder alongside Enzo because that frees up Enzo to really dictate tempo of the game. If it was him and Caicedo, I think Chelsea could look really good this season, genuinely. I just appreciate joining the stream. I also like to learn from this. Invest in adequate replacements for players that they have to let go of regardless of quality. Exactly. I agree with you 100% there. Certain players just aren't quite good enough anymore and you have to move them on. And you've got to have replacements in place. Look, for Chelsea, right, if Enzo Fernandez gets injured, who comes in for him? Is it Gallagher? Who is it? Is it that new signing from Burnley? I don't know. Equally, if you look at Liverpool, if Salah gets injured, who comes in for him? Is it Harvey Elliott? Is that young number 50 for Liverpool? You got to have replacements. You got to have adequate replacements for your big players. I think both these teams lack that. If we keep Chilwell and James fit, we could push Arsenal United to their best, to be honest. Shanak, I'll be real with you. Keeping them fit, I think, will be a big struggle. And also, even if you do keep them fit, I don't think you will. I think Chelsea's still got a long way to go under Pochettino. That's no disrespect. I think Chelsea, I've said before, I think Chelsea are one of the most exciting projects in world football, especially with the money surrounding that football club. And with the manager they've got in Pochettino, who was fantastic at Tottenham for a reason. I think he's a top coach. I just don't think they're quite at it yet. Obviously, they could, and you never know. No one expected the Arsenal last season to fight anywhere near for the title. Many were saying we wouldn't even finish in the top 4. So it can happen. That's for an absolute fact. But I think you're just too soon. I think you jumped the gun on that one. Next season, I think Chelsea could fight for the title. This year, it's about laying the foundations, building a team that works, building the performances on the pitch that works, and identity that's synonymous with the football club. That's what's got to happen if you're Chelsea Football Club. That's just my personal thoughts on it. But yeah, I'm going to start to wrap it up. I appreciate everyone that's joined this stream. My next stream will be tomorrow for Man United versus Wolves in that game, which I cannot wait for as well. Let's see how Man United start the season. I appreciate everyone that left their thoughts in the live chat. Chelsea and Liverpool drew 1-1. It was a fairly boring game, especially the second half. Both teams have a lot to fix up, to be honest with you guys. Chelsea was slightly better, in my opinion, over the course of 90 minutes. But it didn't say an awful lot. And Liverpool got a lot of problems to fix, especially for me at defensive midfield. Both teams do in general. Liverpool have less backup. They don't have a good enough bench. I agree with that for an absolute fact. There was too many youngsters coming onto the pitch for Liverpool. I agree with you 100% there. But yeah, make sure you subscribe if you're new around here on my road to 5,000 subscribers. If you appreciate football reactions, I'll be reacting to a lot of Premier League games this season. Become a member. It's the first link in the description. And as a member, you'll get access to exclusive videos and you'll get your comments replied to before anyone else. So consider becoming a member. It's the first link in the description. It really helps out the channel as well. I'm speaking about Liverpool, by the way. They needed the DM badly. Agree. In the first half, Enzo crept behind McAllister, shows a positional awareness of him if he starts to CDM for 8 months. You're right there. He did, man. He went straight in behind. And they could have scored from that. So you're 100% right. And I think McAllister's better as a box-to-box player anyway. Do you have an FPL Community League, mate? I do. Check out the link in my community tab if you want to join the Fantasy Premier League. I just posted it. So check out the community tab on my YouTube channel. Right there, you'll see the code for the FPL League. I'm doing FPL this season. So come along. And who knows, maybe a prize for the win at the end. I don't know. But yeah, I appreciate everyone that's joined this stream. My next stream will be tomorrow. To wrap this one up, Chelsea drew 1-1 with Liverpool. Both teams start off without a victory, but neither lose as well. And I guess a point's better than 0, right? So let's see what comes of them. To be honest, I think both teams, I think it's too early to call. But on the balance of this, I think they're not going to have an amazing season either side. It did very much look like a continuation of the season before. As I said earlier, it looked like the 39th game of last season rather than the first game of this new season. But there's a long way to go. A long way to go for both teams. So let's see what comes of it. I want to appreciate everyone that comes into the stream today, everyone that left their thoughts in live chat. Hope you enjoyed it. My next stream will be tomorrow between Man United and Wolves. Subscribe if you're new on my road to 5,000 subscribers for Premier League match reactions. Hit the bell notification button. That's so important so you never miss a stream on this channel. Otherwise, I appreciate you guys all for tuning in and I hope to catch you all in my next stream. Take care.